may be Muslim majority, but till this radical elements are reined in, there is always fear that when if Sheikh Hasina loses power, or in case she's removed by force, that is what these people are trying many times and lost the game, there will be very difficult to control the jihadist elements in Bangladesh. They are inspired by Pakistanis, they are inspired by radical elements.
Good evening. We have with us a very special guest, Dr. Ratan Sharda. Dr. Ratan Sharda has been awarded a PhD for his thesis on RSS. He is an eminent author, a research scholar, a columnist, and a renowned TV panelist. He has written 9 books, of which 7 are on RSS. Mr. Ratan Sharda, namaskar and welcome to
Namaskar ji. Namaskar, Shreya ji.
Let's begin our conversation from your thesis on RSS. This is a very important thing that you have done, and you have done this thesis at a time when there are lots of adverse propaganda in Bharat and outside Bharat about RSS, and also about Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi. So will you please tell us what inspired you in writing these many books on RSS, and especially doing your PhD research on RSS?
Thanks, Shreya ji, for asking this question. My main urge to write a book on RSS was when I found that a lot of misinformation about RSS being spread, and there are hardly any books, especially outside the RSS circle, and that too in English, which tell people about RSS. So my first book on RSS was The Secrets of RSS, because people thought that RSS is a secret organization. That is how it was told. So it was important for me to shred that wheel of secrecy that people believe to be around RSS. And then that book was refined further and published with a new form called RSS 360, which was very well received and very well appreciated by people, especially those who did not know RSS. So a lot of people, even within RSS, are surprised to the level which I had gone. In that book, I talk about the soul, that is the ideology of RSS, the body, that is the organizational structure of RSS, and manifestation, that is RSS work on the field, inspired by RSS ideology of philosophy. So that is the first book. Then that was just, it kept on adding. And finally, my guide, Professor Yashwant Pathak, motivated me to do this research on RSS. And this RSS research was, in thesis was called Understanding RSS through its Resolutions. Now, not many people, hardly anybody knows that RSS, in fact, today the RSS Akhil Bharatiya Pratinidhi Sabha just ended today, and in which again a resolution was passed. So RSS policies are decided by the resolutions passed once during this Akhil Bharatiya Pratinidhi Sabha, that is the All India Delegates Conference, and second is the Central Working Committee. In this, the resolutions are passed about national issues, sometimes international issues also, which form the basis of RSS work for that particular coming time, and to put it in practice, how it can be put in practice. This was not known, and how the resolutions are made, and how many topics have been covered, what kind of topics have been covered. So all this I tried to analyze, and then I realized that it's very vast topic. So I decided to concentrate on 3 major areas. One was Northeast, other was Jammu Kashmir and Punjab, which were 3 major disturbed areas in Bharat since independence. So what are those 3 areas doing? What kind of conflicts were there? The root of the conflict, how other people in the mainstream politics and academics were thinking and media were thinking about those issues, how RSS was thinking those issues, because largest number of resolutions have been passed on Jammu Kashmir, on Punjab, and on Northeast, what was called Assam at that time, by RSS since 1950. And those resolutions show a continuous evolution of ideas from 1950-51 onwards till now about how to look at those national issues and how to resolve. And it seems that In most of the cases, RSS viewpoint was proved to be correct, though it was even against the mainstream politics of the time, not very popular, supposed to be communal, but ultimately its will to bring people together on common issues, not rather divide them on differentiating issues, but on bring them together on very strong cultural underpinning and resolve the issue with the society. So in all the three regions, the ideas were different, implementation was different, but underpinning was cultural unity of India. And that is how this happened. And how when you pursue a particular goal with very clear, unselfish, without any ulterior motive, you do something, how it finally results in a good, results in a very good decision. And that too when it is done on the ground, not just passing resolutions, because passing resolution is very easy, everybody does it. To put it in practice through its vast organization is something that is very interesting. And that is why that is what I tried to cover in this PhD. That has come out as a book called Conflict Resolution, the RSS Way. That is the book name.
So, as we know, actually, RSS is a patriotic organization. And in the recent years, we are seeing that political parties, several political parties, such as the Indian National Congress and those leftist, Marxist, and Trinamool Congress, they are making insane propaganda against RSS. As I said, RSS is a patriotic organization. Why those Indian political parties, such as Congress and others, they are always targeting RSS?
Well, it's not something new. This began even before independence or just after independence, to tell you the truth. The reason was that RSS was established in 1925. It very openly said and realized that unless all the problems of India actually began because Hindus were not united, they are the majority community. They are divided on linguistic line or regional lines, on religious lines. So unless the Hindu society becomes one, becomes strong, and takes pride in Bharat, because at that time the English had trained our people enough to believe that we are useless people, we have nothing to offer as Indian people, and we are poor, we are orthodox, we are useless. Despite our long history, right from Dhaka's famous industry of Malmal textiles, jute, and also on the east side, highly education, big education, high technology, and all these metallurgy, every field of science and arts and maths, etc., were all done wonderfully well by the Indians, and which were majorly Hindus, even Muslims who became who had become Muslims are basically Hindus of the time. And how atrocities are done on the workers. If you remember in Dhaka, workers' thumbs were cut off because they were making the finest count of cotton ever made in the world even now. And it is said that in one case, Aurangzeb's daughter was wearing 6 layers of malmal, and Darbaris, when she came to Darbar, were very upset because she didn't look like covered. So this fine quality of textile is hurting them. This high quality of technology and science was never revealed to people and was destroyed. So all this happened because we were not united. We were weak. Invaders who come in, they could defeat us because one king won't go with the other, and so on. Similarly, for freedom movement also, it happened that people are not united. So Dr. Hedgevar, after working as a revolutionary in Kolkata and later in Nagpur, and also later on joining Congress, working for some years, realized that politics won't resolve the problem. We need to unite people, have them pride in the nation. Only then we can become free. And even if we become free, if we are not united and not proud of the nation, we will end up as a poor copy of British rule, and we'll be ruled by different set of people, but the attitude will be same. As you can see even today, we are ruled by the same colonial ideas. We are still ruled by, and now slowly, of course, India is waking up since 2014. Bangladesh woke up after 1971, and there were some hiccups, but slowly picked up its culture. So this uniting factor, when it comes together, only then India can progress. And that is true whether it's only India as of today or including Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, etc. So this particular thought had brought RSS in a very strong position. Then its work during partition, protecting Hindus and Sikhs when the Muslim League goons were attacking people, was very, very well appreciated by the society. Thousands were saved from rape, from pillage, and from their homes They were brought back to India safely, though RSS people suffered deaths, they suffered their own destruction of family and their business. This sacrifice was very well appreciated by people in Sindh, Punjab, and Kashmir, and also various parts of India. This was not liked by Nehru. So Nehru hated RSS guts, RSS work, and in fact, the first one to ask for ban on RSS was Muslim League, not Congress. And when RSS was banned in 1948, first one to congratulate Nehru was the Dawn paper of news of the Muslim League. So this urge to ban RSS because it seems to be a competing power with Congress, that was not. The RSS had clearly said that we are not interested in power politics or electoral politics. They were trying to find a methodology to ban it. In fact, there are resolutions passed by Maharashtra Congress, also UP Congress and some other states to ban RSS, to crush RSS. But it was not easy. So when Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated, this became an excuse when RSS was banned. 1.5 years of struggle, finally ban was removed. But RSS decided not to counter propaganda, but only rebuild the RSS organization, which was hurt very badly during 1948-50. Because it did not answer anybody for nearly till 1990, I would say, except some press conferences and resolutions, people took what was wrong as truth. And the parties who were spreading the untruth believed that actually this is what is true. So till RSS spoke up, this was what was believed. Now after that, about 90s, RSS decided to speak back and also respond to allegations. That is when slowly these allegations became irrelevant, but because of 70 years of hard-coded propaganda against RSS, it is taking time to remove it. And this idea that if you hate RSS, if you criticize RSS, Muslim vote bank will be with us. That idea of the so-called secular parties has continuously fed on Hindu fear, on RSS fear, to keep the minorities, especially Muslims, to their end. And that is why this propaganda keeps on going. Because in Bengal, if you know, the Muslim population is very high, especially in the border areas because of Bangladeshi refugees, and this has made them feel that if we criticize RSS, if we actually defame RSS, we put fear of God in mind of minorities, we will get votes because Hindus are divided. This particular idea has continuously perpetuated itself. Now it has gone to its own expiry date. As you know, in Northeast doesn't work anymore. In Bengal also, you'll find slowly it is dying its own death. And this idea all over India is also slowly dying its own death. Muslim people want to join RSS or its allied organizations. Muslim people have started voting for BJP. So this entire facade of anti-RSS propaganda to put fear in the mind of minorities and make them vote as a vote bank to Congress or to TMC or various shades of Congress is what has created this situation.
Ratanji, I would like to ask a crucial question in this regard, because when you were mentioning about the continuous propaganda targeting RSS. So in today's Bharat, or everywhere in the world, especially in Bharat, we are seeing that the media, which is a very important element for confronting or countering lies and propaganda, but unfortunately in Bharat, majority of the media are controlled by the so-called secularist and anti-India elements. In this regard, you don't see actually a true powerful media which is talking in favor of Bharat or in favor of RSS, even BJP in today's India. So don't you think it's very, very important that Indian policymakers and those who love India should focus on helping those media which are actually exposing the lies of the enemies of India and those leftists and Marxists who are targeting Bharat? In fact, they are targeting RSS. I don't say they don't target RSS. They are targeting Bharat because RSS is a patriotic political force. So don't you think this media it requires real attention from the people in India who can do something for the media? I mean, those affluent classes actually who are spending hundreds of millions of dollars towards so-called secularist outlets which are at the end of the day are not serving the purpose of India.
Shivji, as you know that media was under control of left media lobby for a very, very long time. Same with academics. The intellectual work was outsourced to left communists way back first by Nehru, then very strongly by Indira Ji. So this monopoly of academics and from there on to media was a given because these people got rewarded by the state. These people had all the privileges of using the state power to push their propaganda. And that worked for many years. But I could distinctly see a change which began somewhere in 2009-10. This began actually after 2008 when saffron terror bogey was raised, Hindu terror bogey was raised to in fact help Pakistan not being named as a terrorist state. If you remember Ajmer blast, Ajmer train blast, and also Malegaon blast, when USA and including Pakistan's own ISI had owned up the blast or their people who helped it, the person who on 26/11 also had owned up one of the terrorists in Gujarat where she was killed. But the bogey was raised about Hindu terror that helped Pakistan escape the terror charge. It's also destroyed totally destroyed the case. And there are two charge sheets by the same in the same courts by the same government. One accusing the Muslims of India and Pakistan, other accusing Hindus. But ultimately the case fell and no justice was done. Innocent Muslims were jailed, they were then released. Innocent Hindus were jailed, they were then released, and Pakistan was very happy. So this saffron terror, when it came up, when RSS was being continuously threatened as a terror organization, people started questioning what is so wrong with RSS. Because by that time, RSS had become very big. It was present in every walk of life, whether it was service or service to the disaster prone, whether service to the natural disasters or education or seva or politics or religion, every field you think of, RSS was there. So people had seen RSS work on the field without any propaganda, and they thought there is something wrong in what these people are telling us. So then on, people had the curiosity. By that time, the social media had come, internet had come. So the natural curiosity saw people see through this game, and slowly the tide turned. And when more and more material came out, when I wrote my first book, that Saffron Terror, Bogi was fully informed. But by that time, when it subsided, Modi ji had already risen. So those 3 4 crucial years when people realize this is all wrong, you see a sea change in what is happening. Secondly, media is no more totally in line with what Congress thinks. The falling TRP of people or the TV channels which supported left and Congress ideology and their kind of narrative are slowly going down. They have to borrow journalists from the supposedly pro BJP and pro Hindutva channels to raise their rankings, their ranks. So this is what you see, that though BJP has not really outrightly given any help or supported any media or RSS in terms of its positive work, but people have realized, social media knows about it, and even TV channels have started, showing it. So that propaganda is not working anymore. That is point one. So despite right from Nehru's time to Rahul Gandhi's time, defaming RSS goes on, people are not buying the idea. Now they are looking overseas because overseas people don't know about RSS and Hindus. So by defaming RSS and Hindutva outside India, they are trying to build a case against RSS in international market, international press and media. It doesn't work here anymore. But the 70 years of entrenched interest in academics and media will take some time to be dislodged from that position of strength where they were there and where they have done a lot of hard work to put their ideology in place. But it will happen. It is slowly happening. Things are turning around, though it takes time because it is 70 years of work vis-a-vis 9 years of work or 10 years of work. But it is happening. So though on international platforms, still RSS remains a target by these people. Nationally, it is not an idea that people buy anymore.
I fully agree with you, but as you know that in the recent past, there has been a notorious speech by George Soros and several anti-Bharat elements who have attempted to
So
demonize.
it is not just Bharat Shivji, it is every nation which wants to independent, which wants to be strong, whether it's Bangladesh, whether it's India. Remember this.
Yes,
So a weak nation is their ally. The new
and
left that Soros presents which wants to destroy family values, which wants to destroy societies, which wants to destroy very religious and spiritual base of the societies. They are after all those countries, not just India, but India being the biggest threat, being the largest country, very strong country, it is a target. And Soros and company, that Omidyar network, etc., and many other people like Ford Foundation, they nurture such people who hate rooted ideologies, who hate rooted countries in their culture, and who want to take their own path. They hate such countries and they create disturbances there.
Yeah, but what I was saying, yes, you're correct that the Soros is conspiring in many other countries, even in Bangladesh. And
Yes.
recently, an Indian columnist, she wrote for Western media, branding India as the worst autocracy. I mean, they're doing it also with Bangladesh. They are always demonizing
Yes.
our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and Bharati Prime
Yes.
Minister Narendra Modi ji. So, what is the reason? I mean, why people like Prime Minister Narendra Modi, people like Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who are dedicatedly doing everything for the nation and helping the nation in becoming prosperous. In actually, they have success records, a tremendous success record. Narendra Modi ji, Sheikh Hasina, they have already succeeded in building their nations. So, I mean, why such cruel attacks on such leaders like Modi ji or Sheikh Hasina ji?
See, as I said, these people don't like strong societies. They don't like peaceful societies because that hurts their cause of spreading anarchy. So whether it's Bangladesh or India, now what is their pain? That Bangladesh and India have overcome their decades of animosity, decades of antagonism, and they are trying to work together, which is good for both the people. This they don't like. They like a state like Pakistan, which is broken up, which is destroyed, which is about to implode. So wherever the countries try to stand up, you remember what was done to Libya. You remember what was done to Iraq, because Iraq wanted to come out of the shackles of USA. Weapons of mass destruction story was created. Not just Iraq, but entire region was destroyed. Millions of people died to satisfy the hunger of fuel energy by these Western powers. Then, Libya, Gaddafi was not a good man. He was a dictator. We all agree. But he also had a welfare state in Libya. He had money which he wanted to use for good of his people. He also wanted to bring Africa together, and he was also keen to get out dollar market. And this is the reason why his country was destroyed. He was killed. And this they are doing wherever they can. This is the reason, major reason, why Modi ji is hated, why Sheikh Hasina is hated. Sheikh Hasina has been very firm in her ruling. She has also been fighting the extremist elements in Bangladesh, and this is what they don't like, because strangely, New Left has found ally in jihadi Islamists. For whatever reason, they find they are together, they can never be together. Because when jihadis are there, communists are killed. When communists are strong, all kind of religion is killed, including jihadis. But still them come together because there is a common enemy, which is the civilized society. And to show a victimhood and try to show themselves as a oppressed class, they are creating an environment which is not conducive to peaceful coexistence. Even in Ukraine, what was the reason for the war? Same reason that Ukraine, Russia was peaceful. People wanted to somehow keep on threatening Russia, and borders are stretched, NATO was stretched. When there was no Cold War, there was no competition between Russia and USA anymore after 1980 90. Whereas the need to extend NATO, they did it, and today we find that whole world is looking at disaster. Economies are dying, people are dying. So we can understand the propaganda, we can understand the reason. It's not very difficult. But why choose countries which are peaceful? As I said, they want anarchy. So left can enter by the back door, because on the front door, communists are defeated in most of the countries.
So, Ratanji, next year, 2024, Bangladesh and Bharat, India, we both are going to have the general election. And as we understand that we both the nations, we are under hostility of certain bad elements or, wrong elements who don't want us to prosper. So under such circumstances, and especially, I mean, the government of Sheikh Hasina, it has been vigorously fighting radical Islam and jihadism. And this is one of the reasons that doesn't make people like George Soros or Mohammed Yunus very happy, because they are actually they are not even pro-Islamists, they are anarchists. They want to establish anarchism in our countries. But of course, being an Indian, you are in favor of a prosperous India, a peaceful India. And as a Bangladeshi, I do also want a prosperous Bangladesh, a peaceful Bangladesh. So since we have the common enemy, those in the Western countries and their mercenaries in our country, don't you think the bondage between Bangladesh and Bharat or India should be further strengthened, further much strengthened, so that we can fight those elements in unison for the sake of our own interest and for the sake of the regional peace?
In fact, that is happening, Shweb. If you see the change that has happened during last 3-4 years or more since Modi ji came to power, and there is continuous dialogue with Sheikh Hasina ji, we saw new agreements, we saw resolution of border conflict. We also saw efforts to cut down the illegal immigration between Bangladesh and India. The only sore point today for us in India is the persecution of Hindus in Bangladesh. There is no other sore point. The waterways are being opened up, roads are being opened up, traffic is opened up. Many of Indians work in Bangladesh. They have industries, which work for Bangladesh also, or export wonderfully. Some people have plants there. Now, this is this. So I see no reason why this particular relationship cannot strengthen further, because after all, we have one culture. You may be Muslim majority, but till this radical elements are reined in, there is always fear that if Sheikh Hasina loses power, or in case she's removed by force, that is what these people are trying many times and lost the game. There will be very difficult to control the jihadist elements in Bangladesh. They are inspired by Pakistanis, they are inspired by radical elements. If you see, Saudi Arabia is giving up on radicalism, Wahhabism, Salafism, and it is now coming out of its own created environment of orthodoxy. But the seed it has sown into other countries is what is disturbing. Hopefully, people of Bangladesh realize that extremism doesn't take them anywhere. They are overpopulated, they are densely populated, they need industry, they need peace. If they want to prosper, they need to have good working relationship with India, because India is covering Bangladesh on all the three sides. And India is not forcing its power on it. It is offering continuous cooperation. So if there is cooperation, Bangladesh can prosper. Without cooperation, there will be a limit to which Bangladesh can prosper, as you know this. And in the coming times, as natural disasters take place, as natural climate issues come up, Bangladesh has nowhere to go but to work with India. And once this particular wisdom dawns on the common Bangladeshis, then jihadi elements will have to leave their places and they will get shrunk. From India's side, there has always been cooperation, there has always been support, as you know, right from the creation of Bangladesh. It was only this General Ishad which actually started creating this kind of horrible environment. And whenever their colleagues come in power, you see huge persecution. And today there is huge persecution. I can understand government cannot enter every lane and every part of the villages to stop it. But a firm government, and as I said, understanding that antagonizing India is not going to work for Bangladesh. Cooperation is what is going to work with Bangladesh very well. India has never used force after 1971. It has given Bangladesh complete freedom to do what it wants, never interference in its internal affairs. This goodwill of India has to go as a message to Bangladeshis, and they have to understand that India is not an enemy. Maybe people are Hindu, but we are from the same historical background. If that was not so, Bangladesh, they should not have come out of Pakistan. It would remain as Pakistan. Having known this, I think the only future is cooperation. Only future is coming together, living together, and supporting each other, whether it's trade, whether it's culture, whatever. Trying illegal immigration, trying to force their ideas onto so-called unbelievers is not going to work. Once the larger population of Bangladesh understands this, Sheikh Hasina will stay in power. People slowly understand this is the best way possible, as many of the fallouts of the current cooperation can be seen by the people. And that is what the future is.
Ratan Sharda ji, we'll end this session now, and dear viewers, we'll be returning with our next segment, next session with Dr. Ratan Sharda ji. Dr. Ratan Sharda ji is eminent research scholar, and he has given us the time, and we'll be coming back with a second episode to discuss more about love jihad and Islamist jihadis in this region, and also about the 2024 elections in Bangladesh and in India. Thank you very much, Ratan ji.
Thank you. Dhanyavad.